What's going on, you amazing people? My name is Jacob Bolo, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, as I am too. I am on the precipice of my 36th birthday, and on this 36th birthday, I am looking like a 26-year-old and feeling like an 18-year-old, and there's a reason for this. One of them is I'm going to put on my sunglasses so that my eyes, and so I don't get crow's thing. It's telomere lengthening, in a nutshell. For you academic wizards out there, this is telomere lengthening or shortening, and that's how you get old. That's what age is. That's what creates cancer. That's what all that sort of stuff, and disease, and your lifestyle. Basically, your self-investment or self-harming is going to represent your telomeres. The telomeres are the little things at the end of your... Let's just keep it simple. There is a bushing, a rubber, a thing in your suspension of life, yeah? And the more you smash the shit out of it and neglect it, the more it's going to crumble and deteriorate, and then just boom. There's going to be nothing. Like the cartilage in your bones, you know what I mean? The bits in the middle. If you don't look after that, it'll grind, and then it's just going to be pure pain and suffering and misery and commisery until the end of your life. So my secret, as everyone's absolutely blown away that tomorrow I'm 36 years old, my secret is my life's research in the last 15 years in neuroscience, in spiritual enlightenment and pilgrimage and higher self and divinity, becoming God, understanding, you'll never know God until you understand yourself as God, and so on and so forth. And being the self-master, that you are not subject to change. You change things. So it doesn't matter what happens or doesn't happen, who I am inside and how I feel and think and emotions, and there is no reaction, there is only a response, and that response is one of my command, not one of fear or jolting or anything like that. And that basically, try to keep it very simple. There's a base of your back of your head, there is a part of your brain that is your programming, right? And like, if you want to look at it like this, like, it's called the Jeep analogy. Someone wanted to go buy a Jeep, right? They fancy a Jeep. So that suddenly, when they start looking to buy a Jeep, all they see everywhere is Jeeps. Because that part of your brain is programmed and given a command to look for something. Now, we'll carry this analogy over until like happiness, love, inner peace, and like just meaning of life and quality of life. And that's the same principle. Now, it's a part of your brain, and it's programmable, and well, if you don't program it, then it's programmed. All your limiting self-beliefs aren't your limiting self-beliefs. They were something that someone else did to you or didn't do for you. You know what I mean? So this is all reprogrammable. So my looking like a bloody 26-year-old and not a 36-year-old and like healthy and strong and like freaking awesome is because I know what I'm doing. And my life's research is developing the program to explain that and teach that, and like baking a cake, you know what I mean? The recipe to success in existence. Fuck your monetary nonsense. You are valuable. And when you're valuable, then your life is one of value. And it's a long, happy, healthy, positive one, irregardless of what is physical or materialistical. So there's a third part removed. Everyone's self-identity is materialistical, and then they go second part removed as they think their self-identity is a human form, so far removed from reality, where you're actually one-on-one connected to source and universe, realizing that your self-identity is the energy, the essence, the soul, the connection to God, the universe, and creation is all things. That's your self-identity. And until you're in that place, you live in an external ramification of a ripple of effect. How you're supposed to be anything of value and inner peace. And everybody sits in this dopamine junkie reality of seeking dopamine and feel good and pleasure, instead of having inner peace and having a baseline. So when you're constantly in this high dopamine junkie bullshit existence, your body wants to come back to homeostasis, so it creates a stressor inside you chemically so that you come back down to baseline. You're not supposed to live here. That's why you're fucking miserable and feel like a worthless piece of shit. Doesn't matter what you have or what you get or what you accomplish. You haven't accomplished or got anything. You've sold yourself out for an external junky high because you're internally lacking. Now back to the telomere lengthening thing. That's your length of your life and your well-being and your health, and like why I look this way. And it's like what was I taught? 90% of the strongest people in the world, and that's after breaking my back. And it's not because I take steroids or drugs, it's just because you do these certain things and you do them correctly, and certain things ripple effect out and become those things. And having a lifestyle that is one that is a long one, I'm going for 110 at least, you invest in those things. You invest in a long life. You invest in peace over anything else, and you become the master, not the slave. And your emotions aren't changed. You're the God within, and thus you create, and thus the ripple effect of the world. You expand. You're not compressed. So, and that's only happens when you go within. If there's no one in here, then things come in and they have a place to sit. Yeah, like the whole philosophy of light and darkness is one of the best terminology of spiritual and universe and God is this. There is no such thing as darkness. There's only absence of light. And how we come to this conclusion of enlightenment and God and love over, evil and suffering is, if there is light, then there is not darkness. And the absence of light is the creation of darkness. So there's no such thing as bad or evil. There's only the absence of good and love. Health, happiness. You know what I mean? So these things are the absence of this, and everybody's actually sitting here and feeling like a worthless piece of shit, and they're trying to go and try not to be a worthless piece of shit, to be valued. Like, you're not actually in a peace. You're trying to leave here, but this is the place that you're focused on. I don't want to be a worthless piece of shit. So you're gonna go, I want to be rich and all this sure shit, and circumnavigate doing the inner work that you need to do within inside yourself to become within and enlightened and evolved and conscious. If you haven't got those things, it doesn't matter what materialistic shit you get, my friends. It doesn't matter. It's not going to circumnavigate. It doesn't matter what anything. It's a waste of time. And I tell you this, if you were to live one day as a conscious master, just one, that's going to be the most valuable day of your life. And I tell you, when you die from a person that's been flat dead and had many near-death experiences and motorbike accidents, broke my back and all this sort of stuff, you're going to regret that you lived and wasted and failed your whole life as a loser. You're going to regret that amount of time that you wasted, the amount of you just missed because you were a slave. You're going to regret the fact that you weren't able in one day to be the master, to be the divine conscious divinity that you are, and to have inner peace and self-love, and that things don't affect you. You affect things, and not even by trying to, but by being yourself and focusing on being the source of creation and all this energy, man. And you're going to look, wow, I wasted my whole life. You could live one day like this, and it'll be more worthy and more happiness and more inner peace and more gratitude than a fucking lifetime of any external third-part removed materialism. Anything that is made by humans has no fucking value. Even humans themselves are still not the source of energy that is so important. Life is important, not one species. And you're a part of this, and there's a great divine thing saying that one blade of grass, if it didn't exist, you wouldn't exist. And if you didn't exist, it wouldn't exist. And there is no better, more or less, when it comes to you and a tree, you and an animal. It could be a bloody mosquito gnawing the shit out of you. That thing has free will to exist, and you have no right to end its life. It is not less than you, and you are not more than it, and vice versa. So my epiphany and realization of walking the walk without needing validation or acceptance from anyone. I've been doing this for, like I said, 17 years all over the bloody world as a professional life coach and guru, not seeking any validation. I didn't post on social media. I just did my thing and learnt my thing and evolved consciously. I lived in Thailand and did the whole, monk, and hung out in temples and did the whole martial arts fighting thing. I've done the whole thing, and I've lived an exorbitant amount of a life. This is not a brag. This is an example of knowing what it's like and have been through suffering and no longer suffer because things are subject to me. Like Bruce Lee, I keep coming back to him. Do not wish for an easy life. Wish for the ability to live a hard life. Inner peace. That's where it comes to, that you're not subject to change. That you're valuable, you're not poor. Because poor people, let's use monetary, poor people can't afford to change the things inside them, right? Externally. But if you're external, it doesn't matter you're external if you're internal. It doesn't matter. Embrace death. It doesn't matter what happens or doesn't happen. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Like a fighter tries to win. That's pretty much dumb as shit. A master will never ever allow themselves to be put in a situation where they have to prove that they are a winner by actually proving that they're not a loser. That's the truth. The same thing as light and dark. You're literally trying to prove to others that you're not a loser. So fucking primitive nonsense. So I would suggest that you invest in yourself, in your mind, in your body, and in your soul, dynamic, every single day. And if you can't at least do an hour each, do an hour in total. Break it down. Mind, body, and soul. Self-investment every single day, so that you can look like me, that you can be healthy like me, you can be positive and like you will be the shining example. And I won't have to say, hey, you should be like me. I don't really give a shit. I want you to be like you. You understand me? So that's your self-investment. That's what I challenge you today and every single day, is build up the ability to self-invest every single day, at least an hour for all of it. That it'd be preferred to do an hour each. And you will see that your self-worth and your self-belief and your self-value, and thus yourself are the source of things, right? And thus everyone around you's life is going to be better and more valuable, yeah? Everyone's going to be so much grateful for you being there, not what you can provide. The fact that no one has to pay the price for your worthless, negative, disgusting, fucking unhealthy bullshit and your stupid, primitive opinions and having to dump this on other people. No one gives a shit. No one cares. And thus the world is going to be at a better place in whole. Okay? Peace out. Self-invest every single day. And again, my book and my life program. And yes, I'm about to become back online with my practice. So let's just had to wait until my birthday and settle back in Australia. I've been traveling the world for 6 years. So I needed a break. And anyway, enough about me. All I want from you is for you to finally be who you are. And that will take you getting extremely lost and then realizing that you're not your ego and you don't do things because of ego, and the suffering and pain isn't real. There's a lot to learn. I won't overdo it, but live an example, okay? That's actions speak louder than words, and you can't fake it. I guess that's something I learned. You just are the shining example, right? Peace out again. I love doing that. I love you, and I want you to look after you. And wish me a happy birthday tomorrow. 36, 26. Ciao.